The course Conceptual Quantum Mechanics without mathematics for quantum computing revolves around and involves measurement and measurement effects, observers and observer effects. We begin with what underpins science and mathematics, measurement and measurement effects, and then take on quantum superposition, quantum entanglement, and quantum phenomena. The understanding of measurement slowly leads up to the foundations of quantum physics. The function of the observer is measurement. The observer influences the actuality like odor molecules from a rotting carcass to skew the actuality and coax and manufacture a reality that is intelligible to the observer. The manufactured reality is offensive odor or for the human observer or attractive odor for the vulture observer. Here the odor molecules are the actuality and the offensiveness or attraction is the reality. Please note that the actuality is the odor molecules from a carcass and the reality is either offensiveness or attraction based on who inhales the odor molecules. If a vulture inhales, then the odor molecules are attractive. If a human inhales, the same odor molecules are offensive. Classical world, naive realism. Measurement begins, defining and qualifying. Limits of measurement, precision and disturbance. The observer is involved. Observer effect. The observer cannot be separated from what is being observed. The observer cannot be separated from what is being observed. Probability and certainty, indeterminacy. We can only predict probabilities, not definite outcomes. Quantum measurement, collapse of possibilities. Measurement selects one outcome from many possibilities. Foundations of quantum physics. Reality is relational. Reality is not absolute. It is shaped by measurement. The function of the observer is measurement. The observer influences the actuality like odor molecules from a rotting carcass to skew the actuality and coax and manufacture a reality that is intelligible to the observer. Actuality, odor molecules from a rotting carcass. Human observer, vulture observer. The manufactured reality is offensive odor for the human observer. The manufactured reality is attractive odor for the vulture observer. Some odor molecules, same actuality, different observers, different measurement functions, skew and manufacture different realities. Different observers, different measurement functions, skew and manufacture different realities. Reality is relational. It depends on who is observing. The question Galileo Galilei asked, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Yes, it does create vibrations, but how the sound sounds is the function of the observer. This is so because the moment I introduce an observer in the vicinity, the observer hears it, be it a human or another creature. This is so because the moment I introduce an observer in the vicinity, the observer hears it, be it a human or another creature. If it made no sound, then how can a human or another creature hear it the moment we introduce a creature in the vicinity? The sense data must have been there during the fall and crash for a creature to sense it. So yes, the tree does make a sound, but how the sound sounds is the function of the observer. The tree falls, no observer around. Yes, it creates vibrations in the air, ground and surrounding environment. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Yes, it does, but how it sounds is the function of the observer. The moment an observer is introduced in the vicinity, the vibrations become sense data for the observer. The sense data must be there during the fall and crash for any creature to sense it. If it made no sound, then how can a human or another creature hear it the moment we introduce a creature in the vicinity? Different observers, different experience of the same event. Human observer hears a loud crash, low rumble, reverberations. Animal observer hears warning, danger, or territorial information. Same event, same vibrations, different experience. Now the sound sounds, how the sound sounds is the function of the observer. The function of the observer is to determine how the sound sounds, or how the sound sounds is the function of the observer. Tree falls, vibrations propagate through the medium. Vibrations exist whether or not anyone is there. Sense organs detect vibrations, brain interprets as sound. Sense organs detect vibrations, brain interprets differently for an animal. Key insights. Vibrations, sense data exist independently of observers. Sound as experienced is not in the event, but in the interaction between the event and the observer. Introduce an observer, sense data becomes experience. Therefore, the tree does make a sound, but how the sound sounds is the function of the observer. In essence, event vibrations, observer interpretation, experience sound subjective reality. Yes, the tree does make a sound, but the character, meaning and experience of that sound arise only when an observer is present to interpret it. The universe provides the symphony. The observer hears the music. Do you really believe that the moon isn't there when nobody looks? The moon does exist when nobody is looking and at it, but how it appears is the function of the observer. The moon does exist when nobody is looking at it, but how it appears is the function of the observer. A fly has a compound eye, therefore how the moon appears to a fly is different from how it appears to a human. Furthermore, if the moon did not exist, then how does a human or fly see it the moment we introduce the observer? The moon exists when nobody is looking. The moon is an objective reality. It is there, independent of any observer. Its mass, its influence, it has mass, it influences tides, it reflects sunlight, it follows its orbit. It is real. How the moon appears is the function of the observer. Different observers, different ways of seeing. Human observer. The human eye forms an image of the moon. We see craters, shadows, texture, and phase. Fly observer. The fly has a compound eye. The fly has compound eyes. It perceives the moon as a pattern of many tiny signals, likely flickering, low resolution, and very different. Same moon, different appearance. Appearance depends on the observer's biology and perception. If the moon did not exist, how could anyone see it? If the moon did not exist, then how does a human or a fly see it the moment we introduce the observer? The fact that it is seen proves that it exists. Observation requires something to observe. The moon exists independently of observers. Its appearance is shaped by the observer's senses, biology, and brain. Perception is not reality itself. It is an interpretation. Perception is not reality itself. It is an interpretation. Different observers construct different experiences of the same reality. Therefore, reality is a construct. Reality exists, experience varies, understanding grows. The moon is there when nobody looks, but how it appears is not the moon. It is your experience of it. Reality is constant. Perception is personal. Perception without the observer is impersonal. Click on course links in the description or my comment below.